Okay, this little video is going to be about shooting in manual and shutter speed using the Fujifilm SL240 to 300 range. Also applies to most of the mid to low range budget cameras from Fuji. So we'll go through what we need to do. So if we're out shooting at night, we want a few things, maybe say we're in a city centre or a rural area. The city centre would be something like this. We need long exposure when we're using night shots. We do have to do that. So on this camera, we go to the plus minus button, and what we're looking for is a slow shutter speed, which enables more light to get into the camera. So this is the shutter speed here. So what we're needing is, if it was like, say for example 1/2 there type of thing, that would be too fast. So what we need to get into the seconds, which is indicated by this little apostrophe type of thing, that little mark there, which indicates 1 second. So anything over 1 second is starting to be long exposure. If you were in a city centre, usually you would have more light, so which would mean that you would still need a long exposure, but not as long as, say, in rural areas. So for example, 2.5 seconds, as you can see there, would be quite something that you would be looking at for your general shots in night time. What you would have to do is have a tripod, and you would have to use that. You cannot use your hands because there's too much shake on it. So anything 2 seconds. This other thing is the f4.1 there. I think that's, maybe I've accidentally zoomed there, which has gone back to f3. On this particular camera, as I've noted before on another video, is very poor with aperture. You have f8 at the wide angle, or f3.1. Either of these really for night shooting would be they're okay. I know some people may criticise at f3.1. f8's fine, but that's either one of them will get you a shot, and that'll be okay. So for example, if we're going to go into some rural area, for example a village type of thing where there's not as much light, maybe you want to do car trails or something like that, you'll be looking at more. This camera only goes up to 8 seconds, which is pretty much adequate for most things, but you'll be more looking at the 8 seconds of the anything over 5 seconds to 8 seconds, and that would be probably what you would do in rural areas. Again, you would only have the f3.1, f8, and maybe just play around with them and trial and error. I tend to use 3.1 or f8 at times, but 3.1 gets us shots. And also another thing to remember about this, if we knock the plus minus thing down, is the ISO. And on this night shots, it is important. So this camera is very good at 64 and 200 and down. So 200 will get you a good shot. If you go a bit further up into the, say, 800, 1600, there'd be too much grain. So 200, 100 and 64 will get you good shots. They'll be grain free. Higher up you go, the more grain. Now this is on this particular camera, that's what happens. On the shutter speed, which is a good function, it's a good mode, which is S on the dial, as you can see. Aperture, as I've mentioned before in another video, isn't worth putting on, but shutter speed is. On this camera, oops, again you can go onto the plus minus button and play around with this here. The F, this is a semi-automatic mode. The F will choose itself, so you don't have to worry about that if you prefer. So going through them, okay, And again, like I've just said, rurals and that type of thing, villages, little light would get you 8 seconds. So the more, less light, more exposure is needed. More light, for example, in city centres and stuff like that, still long exposures, but not as long as the others. The one problem with using this mode, the shutter speed, on this particular model of camera, the Fuji SL and S range, I believe, is you can either go on the F button or into the menu or K button, is it only has the automatic 400 or auto 800. For night shots, I mean, you can get away with day shots and bright lights. It's actually very bright outside, and you would be able to get away with the auto 800. But we're talking about night shots specifically here. The auto 400, even on this camera, I mean 400 on some cameras would get you away, but the auto 800 you wouldn't be able to use really, it'd be too grainy. This is my problem with using shutter speed on this particular model, is you really need 200 and down, and that's its caveat really. I mean, it's worth trying out, you know, if that's how you feel. If you want to have a go at the shutter speed, it will work. You'll get some nice night shots, but they'll just be slightly noisy, I would imagine, at that. I've done a few with it, and it's just a little bit too much for me. I think really Fuji could have maybe put, you know, it doesn't need to be automatic. You know, it just needs to be, as it is a semi-automatic mode on any camera, the shutter speed. It just needs to do the aperture for you. And I don't really know why they've done this. This is another Fuji thing. Anyway, I've done a few night shots. If I can just go through there, and I'll put these up on the video. Oh dear. Can I find them now? But it was a local city I was at, and I just did a few car trails, and there's some of them. As you see, there's 3 seconds and f3.1, and the ISO is 64. So I've done that one in manual mode, which is, like I've just said, is a good one. This is another street scene. Lots of light here, as you can see, and only 1.3 seconds needed on that. Again, ISO 64, so you're getting a crystal clear shot, no grain. This shot didn't really come out as well as I wanted. It was a hard shot to get this, so it was a bit of a failure, but never mind. That one was 2 seconds. Maybe I needed more shutter speed on that. Again, this is a lot of light in the city centre, and only 2 seconds needed. And again, the ISO 64. All these were done in manual mode. Again, 2 seconds with lots of light in the street scene. So always using a tripod, and a lot of night shooting is trial and error, but it is good fun. So yeah, hope you're getting something from that, and thank you for watching again.